Hey, good morning, everyone. Jeff here at Beyond Freedom Family. It is an absolutely gorgeous Sunday morning here in New Hampshire. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday, a great holiday weekend. Today, I want to talk about inspired action. But before I do that, I want to bring to everybody's attention these amazing flowers that are behind me. This is a catalpa tree. There's some over there too. What's so unique about the flowers today is this is actually the first time this tree has blossomed. We've had it here for, I'm going to guess, 13, 14, 15 years. And yesterday, my wife and I noticed that, hey, it's got blossoms on it. Awesome. So those blossoms are amazing. They look like little orchids. Eventually, they're going to turn to these weird kind of beans, kind of look like vanilla beans. So hooray for the catalpa tree. Looks like you're growing up. So inspired action. What do I mean by inspired action? Well, inspired action is basically when you take action with an intent in mind. So we've been talking about our goals and our passions, road marks, markers, things to identify we're on track, ways to visualize it, cards that actually allow us to internalize what our passions are. But the reality of it is, if we just have passions and we just have goals and all we do is think about them and meditate about them, but not take any type of action, the reality of the universe is probably not going to answer our request. And inspired action is when we take action with a goal, with a passion, with an end game, an intention in the back of our mind. So it's there, it's subconsciously part of what we do. And in actuality, if you look at the way the universe operates, it's actually what drives the creative process and the manifestation of our desires, wants, things we want to be, do, and have in our life. Because we know the universe, even when it does deliver, with the best laid plans in mind, it really will deliver in a way that we would have anticipated. Though oftentimes it will actually deliver far more than what we were actually going for in the first place. So inspired action, really two examples come to mind. First thing for me is bodybuilding. You know, when you go to the gym and you follow a routine, you start at the gym because you've got some type of a vision in mind. Perhaps you've seen photographs of bodybuilders, or that would be the easiest thing, photographs of bodybuilders. So you look at these photographs of these people in incredible shape, great muscularity. You look at yourself and say, okay, I want to sculpt myself. I want to become something like that person. So you have this vision in your mind of what it is you want to do and how you want to transform your body. So initially, when you go to the gym, you think about that. Hopefully you think about that. And you go through your routine, you do exercises, and if you're consistent with your exercises, you may not see any results for a long time. It may be months before you even notice any type of result. And a lot of times that can be frustrating. But the reality is, if we keep going back to the gym, we keep taking the same actions. Obviously, we're taking these actions because we have an intent in mind. Eventually, there'll come that day where, without us even noticing it, perhaps when we've actually taken our eye off the ball, someone brings to our attention, wow, man, you're really looking good. You've really started to gain some muscle there. And you look at yourself in the mirror and, oh my God, wow, where did this come from? You've actually started to shape your body. You actually look somewhat like what you had anticipated you would look like in your mind. So in that time, that's inspired action. As long as we consistently keep taking actions which take us in the direction of what our goals, our passions, our desires are, and we have in our mind the intention of that, eventually some form of that intention will manifest itself. And usually it happens when we're not expecting it. And that can be, I can think of limitless examples of that. Another example that comes to mind for me is when I was selling, when things were slow. I used to actually get a bunch of postcards, and I would send out just a real quick postcard to any customer, and every customer that I possibly had. Just a quick, hey, how you doing? Just thinking about you. Let me know if I can help with anything. And inevitably, the action of doing that, before I even finished sending out postcards to everyone, all of a sudden I would get busy and there'd be business. And it's the action that actually creates the results, creates the momentum that comes from that. And most times, the actual results that we had in that situation were not as a result of the people that postcards were sent to. It was just a result of the action. So in the past with my own salespeople, I've used that example. When things are slow, get on the phone or, go old school, grab some postcards, thank you cards, anything like that. Just the actual action of doing that will create results. And even though the results will probably not come from the people that you've sent cards to, it's just the way the universe operates. So and when we get into action, inspired action means just that. You're taking action with an intent in mind. When you take that action with the intent in mind, you're giving attention to that intention. You're giving attention to your goal, to your dream, to your passion. And the action itself actually helps to keep that in the forefront of our minds, consciously and subconsciously. The reality is if we stop taking action or don't take action toward our goals, eventually those goals become stale. We stop thinking about them. We stop focusing on them. So by taking action, it keeps our goals fresh. It keeps them in the forefront. It keeps us in process and keeps us going and participating in the activities that we need to participate in to actually have the universe create what we want in our lives and therefore bring to us our desires, the things we want to be, do, and have in life through the creative process. So inspired action. Again, look at your goals, look at your passions, look at the things you want. Think about things that you can do to help to bring those things to be. If you don't know exactly what to do, that's great. Take some kind of action, even if it means making a quick list of things that you think you should do. And then after you do that, write down a few things you think you should do, and then look at the list and say, okay, which one of these should I do first? Whichever one jumps out at you, take that action toward your goal and just continue the process. So with that, I wish you an amazing Sunday. You absolutely deserve it, and we'll see you tomorrow.